Almost 20 minutes past 7 here on Morning Live, and we've got some news just in with the Fees Must Fall campaign. A group of protesting students used stones to break several windows and damaged buildings at Wits University overnight. They also tried to start fires on the campus near the Old Mutual Hall, the DJ Duplessis building, the grandstand at the Science Stadium, and the Umthombo building. The fires were all extinguished very, very quickly. Some buildings were also flooded as protesting students left the taps open. 2 students have since been arrested, and the campuses are cleaned apparently, and the classes are expected to resume this morning as normal. But we can find out a lot more because we're going to stay with student issues and talk about a meeting that was expected to take place between Wits University management and the university student leaders yesterday afternoon. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. The aim of the meeting was to find a way forward on issues of access to quality-free, decolonised higher education. The meeting was also an attempt for a dialogue to find a solution to the student protests under the Fees Must Fall campaign. Well, joining us here in studio now, we've got Professor Tawana Kupe. He's the University of Witwatersrand's Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Vice Principal as well. Good to have you, Prof. Thanks so much for being with us here on the program.
Good morning, Liane, and good morning to your viewers.
Okay, 2 questions I have to ask you. Firstly, why did the students not arrive yesterday?
Well, the mediators who has been talking between us and the students who had contacted us the previous night to arrange this meeting, which was to start around 5 p.m. Then got to us around 5:30, 4:45, and said, unfortunately, the students won't be coming. We're not sure what the issues are. We'll try and meet them later. They were meeting at the Catholic Church, and we presume we'll hear a report this morning. We'd set up everything. The meeting was going to be streamed live.
Yeah.
So on the Solomon Mahlangu concourse, we'd put up 2 screens. People could listen from their computer labs and from their offices or particular places where they study. It's unfortunate that the meeting did not happen. We committed to having the meeting as soon as that is arranged. What we simply want to emphasize is that classes will go on as normal, and any negotiations, any discussions on the issues that are pertinent to the university will happen. The goal of free, quality, decolonized higher education is not something that the university itself can deliver on, because universities are funded to deliver quality education. What we committed to, as you remember, 2 weeks ago, and we're going to have a general assembly on this, is that we'll be part of the campaign to make this goal a possibility over time.
Okay, let's talk about the events that unfolded last night. I'm seeing some quite devastating pictures of what happened to the Matrix building as well. I mean, fires, flooding in some buildings, books being burnt, windows being broken. What is the state of the campus after last night's incident?
The campus is very calm. On my way home, I passed through the campus to the SABC because you are our neighbors behind. So it's quite calm. So there are 2 incidents. What you're talking about, the Matrix and an attempt to burn a bookstore, it's a second-hand bookstore, was quenched by security and the fire engine around lunchtime. There was an incident. Then in the evening, overnight, around 4 areas, as you read out on your opening to this interview, there were attempts to actually burn and throw stones and open tapes in a couple of places. But our security and the cleaners have moved in and cleaned up everything.
Yeah.
So everything is ready for classes this morning. Okay. And as I passed through this morning, people were streaming in to go to the 8 o'clock class.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions I need to ask you. And one being, do you believe, and there's been a lot of speculation that there's more to what's happening with the Fees Must Fall protest, that there's a lot of political involvement. That's what the police have been saying. That's what a lot of other people have been insinuating. Do you believe that's the case?
We don't have evidence to prove that, but what we see as protesting students on our campuses are indeed our own students. It is possible that some people have infiltrated these, even criminal elements. You saw in Bramfontein the other day when there were skirmishes, that some people actually bent a bus and looted shops. It turned out, from what we heard, some of them were not necessarily students. I think that political parties and some political forces might have an interest in this, because issues of public funding of universities and others are also issues that political parties contest around. But I would not sit here and pass conspiracy theories that the whole Fees Must Fall movement is a movement controlled from outside by third forces or politicians. It might well be a combination of both.
Yeah, yeah. If we have a look at some of the incidences and the events that are happening on campus at the moment, they're very disgruntled students, but there are also students that want to learn. They want to write exams. They want to get their degrees and qualify for this year. Yeah. Are they able? Without any intimidation, because there's the story that we're running in the news, intimidation, voice messages going around saying that if they attend classes, they're going to be intimidated and they'll be faced with aggression.
A very good question and real concerns. And let me tell you what has happened at Wits. From Monday, there was an attempt by protesters to derail our resumption of classes. But the story about this is that more and more people have come to classes, and as more and more people come to classes and start learning, and we've released the exam timetable, these threats and scare tactics have increased as well. Yeah. And we've actually traced that some of them, and we've sent some of them to the police to our investigation, that sometimes they are coming from the same source. It's a person basically losing the battle as more and more people come. We're at Friday today. If you compare Friday and Monday, there's so many classes running now, not necessarily at full capacity, but people have affirmed that they want, as you rightly said, they want to study, they want to learn, and they were asking us for the exam timetable. We can assure people of the following, is that come next week, classes will be full, we will provide the necessary security. The protesters, the violent protesters particularly, are losing out, and if needs be, we will find places where people can actually write exams free of intimidation. Okay. But right now, our plan is we will provide safe writing circumstances on campus. In the unlikely event that some place is not safe for writing exams, we have a backup plan.
Even I mean, we are still seeing a very tight security presence at Wits University. I mean, this morning there's pictures of the Nyalas arriving, and even though that's against what the students want.
Well, there are some very few students. The numbers are dwindling. The people that were throwing stones in the middle of the night, because now during the day they can't do anything because their classmates are busy walking into class and studying and so on. Yeah. We will always provide even when things calm down, a modicum of security through our campus security and some other in-source security to ensure that actually happens. I think the story of Wits this week and the story of University of Johannesburg next door is that you can resume your classes, hold with security, and the momentum builds up and you can return to normals.
The big release that the Wits University sent out as well, which was saying that even if you do have outstanding fees, you will not be turned away if you write exams. The academic year has been pushed out by 2 weeks, and those dates and everything's been transferred to the public. One thing, however, that hasn't been spoken about, and I think it's a vital one, because it seems that students are allowed to write exams if they haven't finished paying for their school fees. It's getting their results that's a problem. You've got students that passed many years ago that have a degree, but they cannot get a job because the university won't release their degree because they are outstanding, or there is outstanding fees. What's going to happen there? I
think there is a lag in information, and in large institutions. We resolved this matter last year, actually. In fact, even before we resolved this matter, it's always had a system where if you demonstrated that you have gotten a job or that someone is interested in employing you, we would release the results to the employer so that you could get employed and then sign an acknowledgement of debt with us, so that you begin paying, because we recognized the problem long time ago. Yes. It's useless to hold somebody's qualifications and then they can't get a job. That also means they can't pay your debt. Yeah. So last year we even went further and implemented it and said, for last year, that is for those people who graduated, finished 2015, going to work 2016. We say to them, if you owe less than 15,000, we're releasing your results now, but sign an acknowledgement of debt. And this acknowledgement of debt means that you start paying us as soon as you work. So this year again we will make a particular and specific dispensations. But let me repeat, if you are a Wits student who has graduated and you don't have your results and you need employment, an arrangement can be made so that your results
released to those prospective
employers, so that you can be employed. The key thing is an acknowledgement of debt as
there you go. There you go. Thank you for talking to us here on the program. Professor Tawana Kupe is the Deputy Vice-Chancellor and Vice Principal of Wits University, giving us the latest on the Fees Must Fall protests that have been happening not only at Wits but around the country. Quick break, news headlines after this.